Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our October webinar, Proven Strategies to 10 Times Your Real Estate Business. We are so happy to have Martin Esqueda from the Tom Ferry Your Coach Organization hosting today's webinar for us. Our goal at Allison James is to always give back to our agents by providing education, training sessions, full broker support, and the most up-to-date tools and technology available. We are always looking for new tools and ways to be able to provide them to our agents at a lower or discounted price, so you can keep your hard-earned money for the important things in life and the people you love. Allison James Estates and Homes is a nationwide brokerage which offers 100% commission and 100% support. Why split your commission if you don't need to? You've earned it all, so shouldn't you keep it all? Here are a few of the free marketing tools we are extremely proud to now be able to offer to our agents. Property marketing, including unlimited property websites and digital listing presentations, unlimited personal websites with IDX feeds, and lead generation tools, including lead capture squeeze pages, CRM, and task management systems. With plans starting at just $35 per month, we have plans that cater to all levels of production. And as Allison James continues to grow, we will be providing more of these free tools to help you grow your business. So thank you to all of the outside agents who have joined us today. We feel that training should be free, and we welcome you to join us for any of our upcoming webinars or live events. With that being said, I would like to now pass it over to Shelley Hoyseth, Senior Loan Officer with our preferred lender, Movement Mortgage. Good morning, Shelley.
Good morning, Victoria. Good morning, agents, Allison James, and otherwise. It's great to be with you again this morning. I just wanted to talk a little bit again about TRID. You're probably so tired of hearing me say it, but the great news is it was implemented on October 3rd, and we have been having great success with it. While some others are falling short and struggling, we took over a file that had been with another lender for 28 days. They still had not ordered the appraisal. They came to us in an emergency state. On October 9th, a loan officer here in our San Diego area took the loan application. We had clear to close and docs out in 6 business days, and it closed with the original closing date of October 19th. And this is all post-TRID with all the new TRID disclosures and timelines in place. I personally have about 3 loans that are in process right now through the TRID system. One of them is going to be closing 2 days early. The others are on track to most likely do the same. So we are doing great. I want to encourage you, if you're hearing a lot of excuses or pushback or extensions due to TRID, don't wait until it's too late. If it's been a couple weeks and your appraisal hasn't been ordered, give me a call. We're happy to jump in and take it over and get it done for you. Going along with the theme today of some tips, I have kind of a silly tip, but it's something that comes up often. I'm sure you guys experience this too. But one thing I would encourage you to do, because I know a lot of you have whizzy little email names like iSellFlorida, at Gmail or something like that. And while those are clever, I would really encourage you to have at least your first name in your email address, because often I'll be trying to find a lender or a client or someone, another real estate agent, and I know their name, but I don't remember their fancy email. And as you know, we're all lazy, we're all in a hurry, so we just try to hit a new email and hope it will auto-populate, and we try to put in Mark and nothing comes up that matches who we're looking for, or we try to put in M and we don't remember that they are the best realtor in the US at Gmail. So that's just my little tip, that if you have a Gmail account or something that you can have your name, your first name in the email address, do that and have it, you can still use the other one and have it go to this so they can share the same account. But that's just my little tip. And anyway, I'm going to pass it back over to Victoria, who will present our presenter for the day. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Shelley. And now over to our presenter, Martin Esqueda. Good morning, Martin.
Good morning.
Martin, are
And
you?
Victoria, can
There
you
you
see?
are.
Yeah,
Mhm.
can you see my screen?
We can.
All right, perfect. So let me go ahead and get this going.
Great.
Okay, here we go. Listen, thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your event this morning, and thank you, Shelley, for the good information. It was actually funny because even though I'm presenting today, I have a notepad as well, and one of the things I wrote down is what Shelley said. As an agent, we want to make sure that we do have our name and the email address. Definitely a good tip. And I would encourage any agents that don't have that, that is maybe one of the first things that we want to do going forward with the day to make sure that that's something that we have in our emails. So it's definitely a great tip. Let me kind of tell you about Tom Ferry and his coaching before I tell you about me and my background. Tom is a real estate coach. He's been doing this for a long, long time. He used to be president of his dad's company, Mike Ferry Organization, for many years. About 11 years ago, he broke off, kind of went on his own. It took him a few years, about 7 years into it, which was about 3 to 4 years ago. Tom became the #1 real estate coaching company on the planet. He's been doing this for over 25 years. He's one of Inc.'s 5,000 fastest growing companies across the planet. If anybody's never read his book, he has a book that's Life by Design. It is a Wall Street bestseller. It's an amazing book. Talks about his life and his thought process. And a lot of times people will ask me, Martin, is Tom really like that? Like when we see him on stage and he's so dynamic and he has so many great nuggets of information, not only from a real estate and a business perspective, but just from a life perspective. And I tell people all the time, absolutely. One of the beauties that I love probably the most about being here, not only helping agents, because that's something I've done for the last 12 years, but being able to be poured into by somebody on a constant basis that's not even so focused on myself and my work goals, but on my personal goals, on my relationship with my wife and my kids. And it's always good to surround yourself with people like that. So currently right now, Tom's the #1 real estate coach in the country. His numbers are, his average clients, even on his entry-level coaching, are selling 33 sides a year, which is highest in our real estate industry. So that's kind of a little bit of the background on that. I've been in this business for about 11 and a half years. I came heavily from the default world. So if we have any agents out in the audience that used to dabble in that, I'll kind of give you a background. In the United States, when a home gets foreclosed on, depending on who the bank is, right, the servicer or the investor, they're done on typically a couple platforms, either Equator's platform or Residence platform. And at that time, I was a consultant for Residence platform, so I wore a lot of hats. They would fly me all around. I would be the one that would speak at most of the major default conferences. I would sit on a lot of panels with Fannie and Freddie, our GSEs, and I would attend hundreds of brokerages, a lot of large ones. One year, 14 of the top 100 brought me in, and I was pretty good at what I did. I would teach those agents, because most of us were used to the old cycle. They didn't realize that we had to be on systems now, the systems that the banks used, to be able to list those properties. I would teach the agents what clients had properties in your area. Who was assigning those clients? Was it a vendor manager? Was it an asset manager? How to connect with them. And once you connect with them, how to do a good job, how to stay connected. And we all know that the beauty of that market is if you did a good job with a client, the client could give you multiple properties at a time. I had one friend who had a Fannie Mae account, and at that time they would give him 100 listings at a time. You imagine your iPhone going off and you just received 100 listings. That would be pretty amazing. But after a while, and I knew Tom, I've spoken at events that Tom spoke at, Tom recruited me. And a lot of my friends in the business will still ask me, Martin, why did you choose Tom? Well, for me, it was a no-brainer. I saw the work that he's done. I saw agents take their business from a level to a completely another level, and I wanted to be part of that. I'm a numbers guy, and I knew that he was ranked #1 based off production, and I just wanted to be a part of that organization. So here I am. I'm out there helping agents get from where they're at currently to where their goal is. So we'll kind of go forward. I would encourage everybody right now to pull out your piece of paper and pull out your pen and really think about this for a minute. It might sound cheesy, it might sound cliche, but I want you to get serious. And whatever you're thinking, I want you to think bigger. And I'll give you an example. I do a lot of coaching calls. I have a team of coaches that are underneath me, and they do a lot of coaching calls as well. And one of the things that I encourage agents to do is I encourage you to think big, because you're in a business where big things can happen. You're in an industry where you can make a great deal of income and have an amazing lifestyle, unlike, let's say, spending 15, 20 years in a corporate world climbing a corporate ladder. I'm from Southern California. I live in a city called Irvine in Orange County. If anybody's never been to California before, it's basically between San Diego and Los Angeles. It's on the coast side. And our top agent here is a gentleman who sells about $245 million a year in sales. It's pretty impressive. And most everybody that gets their license in Orange County, they want to be like this agent. But 6.5 years ago, this agent wasn't even able to pay his mortgage. And I love the story how we can be in an industry where we can go from being broke to have an amazing lifestyle. So whatever your goal is, I want you to think bigger. Today we're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about how to 10x your business. We're going to talk about why now is the right time. And then we're going to go through roadblock or catalyst. 5 areas that you can decide that are either going to be a roadblock in your business or maybe they're a catalyst in your business. So let's get started. First, we're going to start with 10x. First, I want you to think about this. If anyone's ever been to a Tom Ferry event, you've heard him talk about your why. Now, I know a lot of us are thinking right now is, listen, we want to get the secret sauce, Martin. What is it that I need to do? Just tell me or give me the paper to follow to be able to make a ton of money or get my business to another level. But it really comes down to, even before we do that, there's stuff that we have to get internalized correct. There's things that we have to get and figure out about ourselves before we can get to another level. And I want you to bear with me on this. One is a why. So your why is just as important as your how to do it or your what to do. This is important. You have to have a why. And all of my coaching calls that I do with people, I need to know what their why is. Now, sometimes they're like, Martin, I don't even know what you're talking about. Or, Martin, why is that important? And I'm going to tell you why this is important, friends. If I'm coaching an agent that's making $50,000 a year, and they've been in business for 11 years, and they're consistently making $50,000 a year, year after year after year after year. But at the beginning of the call, they now tell me that they have a goal of getting to $200,000 a year. The first thing I want to find out is why. Why all of a sudden do they want to make $200,000 a year? And why it's important to me, because typically this agent has been used to living off of $50,000 a year. So they figured out a way how to run their household and live on $50,000 a year. So if they don't have a why, if nothing's really changed in their business or in their situation, then really they're probably not going to do the things necessary to get to that amount. Does that make sense? You have to have a why. I was on the phone with a gentleman the other day doing a coaching call, and I will never forget, he was full of energy. He had an amazing story. A year ago, he's a young gentleman. He was 40 years old. He was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Obviously, you know, when he found out, it hit him like a ton of bricks, as it would everybody. And now, you know, he's fighting it. He's beating it. He's not through the woods yet, but his outlook has completely changed. And he told me, Martin, I have done more in 12 months with not only my work, with my family, with my relationships, with my friends, than I have in 40 years. So I don't consider this a curse. I consider this a blessing because his why has changed. So friends, I want you to write that down. What is your why? And you don't have to answer it right now, but as we get off the call and as you move forward this week, I want you to really reflect and consider, what's your why? Because you are going to need a good why to make sure you get that business to another level. So there's 3 action steps that we're going to take. 1, we're going to determine where you are. 2, we are going to determine who you are. And 3, I want to make sure that we create the right action steps to get you to where you want to get to. So I'm going to say that again. We're going to, one, determine where you are. Two, I want you to determine who you are. And three, I want you to create the right action steps that are necessary to get you to your goal. Now, if you're writing down every slide, you don't have to. At the very end, I'm going to offer you guys the actual free coaching call to my coaches. I've already approved it here, and we're going to actually give you the slides. So like you have to write down every single one. You're going to get it in a PDF. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to kind of look at where you're at right now. So what we've done as a coaching company is we've broken down the 8 levels of performance. So from 1 all the way to 8. And I'm going to kind of go through this with you. So this is kind of the levels that a typical agent is going to be, whether it's 1, 2, 3, all the way to 8. So we'll start in order. Number 1, if you're level 1, you're at a place where you have no budget and you have no leads. So you have no budget, no leads. Level 2, you're at a position now where you're looking to diversify your lead generation. You're in a position where you're getting ready to start planning. So diversify lead generation and planning, that's the stage you're at. The next one, level 3, is consistency and conversion, right? So you've diversified your lead generation, you got some lead generation, but you're having a hard time being consistent, and you're having a hard time with being, right? Your business is maybe going up and down, right? You're having a hard time converting those leads. Number 4, you're at a level where you kind of got all of that figured out, and now you're thinking about hiring an assistant because we don't want you to be a highly paid admin. So you're at a level where you're thinking about hiring an assistant. That would be level 4. Number 5, you already have an assistant. You're doing very well. Your business is kind of booming. Now you're at a level where you want to grow a team. Maybe you're working 7, 8 days a week. That's level 5. Number 6, you're at a level where you have the team, everything's doing well, and you want your team to outproduce you. So you want your team to outproduce you. The next one, level 7, you're looking to extend the cash cow. You're doing well, your business is running like a well-oiled machine. Now how do you extend that cash cow? And finally, level 8 is where you're getting ready to come up with an exit plan, a succession, right? So maybe you're thinking about stepping away, but yet still generate a portion of those incomes. Are you thinking about just stepping away and completely selling your business and riding off in the sunset? So you have 8 levels of performance. I want you to kind of write down right now what level that you're at. Write it down, tuck it to the side, so when you do get your free coaching call with your coach, they're going to ask you what level are you currently at, and then what level are we trying to get to. The next thing is we're going to determine who you are. So we've kind of broken all entrepreneurs, the one in the middle. This is kind of who we are. But let me ask you, are you more of an operator? Are you more of an artist? So let me kind of explain the difference. And there's no wrong or right one, right, whether you are. But in reality, typically the ones that are going to do typically better, they're normally ones that are artists. Have you ever had somebody in your office where you're like, wow, she sold all those houses. How does she even do it? Like, I can't even believe it. Her desk is a mess. She's unorganized. She does this, or he does this, he does that, but he seems to kill it all the time, right? A lot of times they are the ones that are the artists. The operators, I'm more like that. You're one where you kind of have structure. Your desk is always neat, right? There has to be an order. If something goes out of order, it kind of bugs you a little bit. If I'm at a presentation and the person goes over the time limit, that drives me crazy, right? And where we get in trouble is as we start climbing up the different levels, right? When an artist hires another artist to run, help run their office. That's where you run into problems. But I want you to understand who you are. You need to get to that point. I'll give you an example. My wife is an extreme artist. She's very outgoing. She will talk to the world and find out their entire life situation in a matter of a couple minutes. And sometimes it drives me crazy. I'll look at her and I'll just roll my eyes. But I'll tell you, in real estate world, she would kill me. If we went door knocking, she would crush it. Unless I knock on doors and somebody shows up with a football jersey, then I would probably beat her. But apart from that, I want you to understand who you are. So determine that. So when you're on the coaching call with your coach, they're going to ask you, are you more of an artist? Are you more of an operator? Go to the next one. The next one is plan. You have to have the right action steps to hit your goal. This is important. I would tell you that even conservatively, 90% of the people that I talk to on a daily basis, they do not have a plan to get them to another level. And a goal without a plan is a what? It's a wish. You have to have the right action steps in place to hit your goal. Now, I'm going to give you a couple scenarios. A lot of times I will talk to an individual agent, especially this time of the year, and let's say somebody had a goal of getting to 30 closings for the year. That was their goal on January 1st, 2015. And then now I talk to them in October and I ask them, you know, what's your goal? And they drop their goal to like 15 because they're way short and somebody told them to cut their goal in half and come up with something realistic. I'm not a believer in that, friends. I'm a believer in whatever your goal is, don't change the goal because you weren't able to hit it. Change your action steps because those weren't the right action steps to allow you to hit your goal. Ask yourself, if you have a high goal, is somebody in your market selling that many properties? So is somebody else hitting your goal in your market area, in your city, in your county? And if the answer is yes, then we know that it's realistic that that goal can be obtained. The issue is we need to make sure that we create the right plan so we put ourselves in position to hit that goal. And this is very, very important because, like I said, the majority of the people that we talk to, they don't have a plan, and we need to have a plan. I want to give you an example, and I hope this example kind of sticks with you. I'm a big sports guy. My children were involved in sports growing up. We were a hockey family. All three of my boys, they're now grown. They played hockey all growing up. I still play hockey every week. Played last night, every Tuesday, and I have a lot of fun. It allows me to get out my competitiveness, keeps me in good shape, and I just love doing it. And in hockey, if you talk to anybody that even remotely knows the sport, they're going to know a gentleman named Wayne Gretzky. And Wayne Gretzky was probably by far the greatest hockey player that's ever lived. And when you look at him as an individual, he was not bigger than everyone. He wasn't faster than anybody, right? It's not that he was playing longer than everybody. So how in the world was he so good? And still to this day, he's by far the best hockey player that's ever played. And I want you to understand this, and I want this to stick with everybody. Okay, it's not always about, think about everybody that would play hockey. They would all go to practice. They would all be taught the same thing. They'd be taught the same moves, how to shoot. They learn all of this stuff, and they would go out there and apply it. So it's not that he knew more than what everybody else knew, but he saw things differently, right? He was one where he stood back and he saw the whole picture. He didn't go to where the puck was. He always went to where the puck was going, and he put himself in position to be not only the best of his era, but the best still of all time. And friends, we have to make sure that we put ourselves in position to be the very best that we can be. So we have to have a plan, a realistic plan to hit your goal. And if you haven't been able to come up with a realistic plan, I would encourage you to have your broker help you. Or if that's not the case, I would encourage you to talk to your coach on your coaching call and let them come up with a plan to get you to the next level. So very, very important. Last thing on the 10X, we have to increase our lead flow and we have to improve our conversion rate. These are two things that are musts. The majority of the people, 92% of the people that I talk to on a daily basis, they have a goal of doubling their business. 92% of the people I talk to. For you to double your business, I don't care if it's doubling from 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 40 to 80, whatnot, you have to increase your lead generation. You have to get more lines in the water. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And you also have to improve your conversion. I'll never forget about a gentleman that I was coaching a couple weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago. His name was Timmy, and Timmy was a gentleman, was a typical real estate agent in this aspect where he was trying everything. He was trying, he was spending a lot of money, and he was spending money from one area to the next area to the next area for leads. Well, it wasn't that it was a shortage of leads. So I asked him, why, you're getting a lot of leads, so it's not like you're getting a shortage of leads, so why do you keep switching to other companies? He goes, well, they're not working for me. So his answer in his head was, those aren't working for me. I'm going to pay money on another set of leads and another set of leads. Where the reality is, we needed to stop wasting money, and we need to get him improved at his conversion techniques. So when he was in front of people, he was better. That's the key. So it's one, we have to increase your lead generation. If you're going to 10x your business, you have to get more lines in the water, and you have to improve your conversion rate. These are two things that we have to work on as agents. So I want you to write these down. These are musts. Why now is the right time? Why is it? Why is this particular time the right time to make money? And I'm going to get into this right now, and it's going to be short, and I hope this actually sticks with you. A lot of the times when I do coaching calls with people, I like to kind of really dig in. So I'll find out where the production is, I'll find out what their goals are, and I'll ask them. I usually use this line. Listen, if you had a magic wand and you were able to wave it today, what does that look like for your business? So I'll ask you again, if you had a magic wand and you were able to wave it for your business, what does it look like? Did that 20 deals a year now jump up to 50 deals a year? Maybe. And a lot of times we do that. So we'll set short goals so we can kind of accumulate them and accomplish them. And then we'll set ourselves long-term goals, like a 5-year goal or a 10-year goal. And I understand the thought process. I'm not really a big believer in that. And I'll give you an example. So what happens if you, let's say Agent Bob. Agent Bob has a goal, a 1-year goal of getting to $100,000 a year. And then Agent Bob has a goal of getting to $400,000 a year in 5 years. This is my issue. My issue is, what if in 5 years we're back in a default market? Is Agent Bob still a real estate agent? Or is he out back working where he used to work when the last default market was around? Friends, we have no control over where the market's at. So I would encourage you, whatever that goal is, whatever that long-term goal is, make it your goal. All you need to do is come up with the right action steps to hit that goal. So figure out what it is you want to accomplish in this business and put the right action steps in place so it doesn't have to take you 5 or 10 years to be able to get there. Does that make sense? We can do that, and we've seen it, and I see it right here on a daily basis where I live, where you have a gentleman that was closing 15 deals a year, and 6 years later, he's making $245 million a year in commissions, or excuse me, in sales volume, $7 million a year in commissions. So come up with your goal and create the right action steps to get to that long-term goal. So the long-term goal isn't so long, because reality is the market's going to shift. And if the market shifts, is that going to put a damper on your goal? The last part that I want to talk to you about today is called roadblock or catalyst. There's 5 specific areas that you can decide, and you're going to rank yourself at how well you are on these areas. And I want you to be honest with yourself, because when you do your call, these 5 areas, we're going to ask you what your number is. So basically, we're going to number it 1 through 10, and we're going to find out how good you are at these areas. And these areas kind of make up, I call it the hub of your business. So let's kind of get into this. The first one, we're going to talk about mindset. We talked about a little bit about your goals, but it comes down to having a right mindset. So I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 10. And let me kind of give you the parameters on this. So a 10, in any of these areas, you are a rock star, right? You could probably stand up and teach a particular subject. A 1, you're definitely not very good, or maybe you just don't do it at all, and you would definitely need a lot of coaching on this particular subject. So scale 1 to 10. So if we were to hook up, let's say as an example, a computer to your head, and it was to read out all of your thoughts, and it was to read out all of your dreams and all of your conversations, everything that you took in, right? Everything you read, everything you listened to, everything you watched. What percentage of those thoughts would be about you selling the amount of properties that you need to sell to hit your long-term goal, right? It's a good question to ask yourself. So what percentage of it? So mindset is everything. You have to have the right mindset when you go into this. You have to have the right mindset. There's a thing that Tom kind of taught me when I got here, and this is one of the things that I've been doing. I've kind of tweaked it a little bit to kind of make it my own. But I want to tell you, I am a believer, and I'm sold on it. And it's the power of gratitude. And this is a simple exercises. And every time I get a new coach that comes underneath me, I give them a journal, and I have them start doing it. And I'm going to kind of go through this with you. Because what it does is it helps me prepare and get in the right mindset about things and not just considering work. So with Tom, he uses things that he releases for the day, things that he is grateful, and things that he can declare. So as you can see right here on the side. And he's going to write down those particular things that he wants to release, things that he wants to attract or declare, and things that he's grateful for. For mine, I do 5 things that I'm grateful for, 5 things that made me happy yesterday, and I write down 3 goals that I am going to accomplish today. And it's kind of crazy because every quarter I'll go back and I'll reflect at the things that I do, and I can start seeing a pattern of all the things that I do that kind of made me happy from the day before. And these are things that I try to implement in my life on a consistent basis, because if I'm doing things that are making me happy, it's going to alter my mindset. And if I'm in a good mood and I'm thinking good things and I'm happy about things, it's going to definitely, allow me to be much more productive than if I was in a state of being negative. And the crazy thing about it is this is something that we can do on a daily basis that would take you less than 5 minutes. But I promise you, it would start preparing and changing your mindset and getting you in a spot where you can now be in position to do the things that you need to do. The next one is going to be planning and organization. And for some of us, this is probably one of our weaknesses, right? How many of you can relate to this, right? I'm going to be more constant this year or next year. I'm going to follow a schedule. I'm going to get more organized. Especially at this time of the year, we all talk about this for next year. Next year, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be more organized. I'm going to, go harder. I'm not going to let stuff bother me. We all come up with New Year's, resolutions. So we all do this stuff, on a consistent basis. And in reality, year after year after year, we're still trying to break through in this particular category. So I want you to rate yourself. Are you good at it? Are you poor at it? Do you put very little effort into your business planning? Are you constantly trying to figure out what to do every day, with your week to be successful? Are you consistently super stressed out all the time? You feel overwhelmed in this business? Because this business could definitely overwhelm you, right? Are you losing leads? Have you been missing important details, right? Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to your planning and your organization. So one of the things that we've realized as a company is a lot of us aren't good at this particular area. We're not good at planning. We're not good at keeping schedules. So what we've done is with our clients, we teach them a daily action checklist, right? We teach them on it and we coach them on it. It's very simple, right? List key actions that are needed to be accomplished. So at the end of the day, you are finishing this stuff and you're going to be a lot more productive. Here's a couple examples. My hour of power, right? My lead follow-up. This is extremely important, and I'll give you an example. With every single agent that we talk to, when I coach and I find out what their goal is, one of the things that I do up front is I ask myself, Do you know how many people that you need to talk to on a daily basis to hit that goal? Here's a good example. The answer normally is, no, I have no idea. So what we've done is we've created a formula based off of our thousands and thousands of clients on what that kind of looks like. Now, it's not 100%, but if you stick to it and you fall within the realm, I can promise you're pretty much going to be hitting your goals, and I'll give you an example. If I'm talking with somebody that wants to sell 50 houses a year, I know that if I took that goal and I multiplied it by 40 and I divided it by 11 and I divided it by 20, I would get 9, a little bit over 9. So if I'm talking to agent Teresa, I would tell Teresa that, Teresa, we need to talk to 9 people a day to put yourself in position to be able to hit 50 deals at the end of the year. Well, Martin, no one's told me that before. I've never learned that. Awesome. Now we know what the benchmark is, and we know for your goal to be successful, we need to talk to 9 people a day. So what we'll do is we'll put it on your daily action checklist. And then as the day goes by, right, you make sure that you check off those items that are key to allowing you to be able to accomplish your goals. So it's a daily action checklist, and we can help you with that too when we do the call. The next thing I want to talk about is, and this seems very, very simple, but no matter where I go, when agents ask me to give them something to do, this is the first and foremost thing I tell them to do. Create yourself a do, doing, and done board. And I kind of want to give you an example. We've all heard of people named Steve Jobs. We've heard of Walt Disney. We know his story. You heard of Mother Teresa. But one of the things they've all had in common is they were all at one point in their life coached by a gentleman named Mike Vance. And Mike Vance taught them to use a do, doing, and done board. And at first I was like, no way, no way, come on, are you serious? But it's true. And if it's important for these people, as successful as they become, it's important for us because it's visual. It's like the old, listen, I keep wanting to do something and we just don't do it. So now we're to the point where me and my wife will just write it down and we put it on the refrigerator. And when it's on the refrigerator, it gets done. Well, why does it get done? It typically gets done when we put it on the refrigerator because now we see it on a consistent basis. So it's reminding us of what it is that we need to do. All this is taking it to another level. So you're going to write stuff down, what you need to do. You can do it for the week. You can do it for the month. You can do it for the day. You're going to have a section where you're going to put down things that you're currently doing. And once you've accomplished them, you move it over to your done board. So you can reassess your month and find out after, let's say, the 30 days, how many things do you have in the done compared to how many things that you started out with in the do. And you're now developing a habit and you're creating successful patterns in yourself and your business that's going to allow you to get to another level. Friends, it's not a secret recipe where if I just say the exact same thing as this agent does, I will have the same production. That's what we all think. I was speaking in a large brokerage office in West Hollywood a couple months ago. This is no exaggeration. And they have a lot of offices in that area, and I think I spoke at like 4 of them. And whenever I go speak, I love to show up early just to introduce myself, in case maybe traffic's really, really, really bad, or whatever the case is, and get to know people before I start speaking. And there was a couple agents that were kind of going back and forth before things started in their cubicles. And they were talking about this one particular agent that's with another brokerage, and this agent was killing it. And that she had a friend that was a friend of hers, and she was trying to get from that friend of hers her actual script. And she had it in her mind that if she had the exact script that this lady used, that she would crush it as well. And I'm going to tell you, I want you to understand this scenario, and I know it might sound cheesy and geeky, but I think the point is relative. In hockey, I play goalie. I'm 47 years old. I play with a lot of kids. I'm like the grandpa on the team, but I've done it for a long time, and I do very, very well. And I can imagine if, let's say somebody was starting out and they wanted to be a goalie, and they thought, oh, if I just buy a new blocker, I'm gonna block more pucks. If I bought a new glove, that would help me catch more pucks. If I got new pads and spent $2,000, that would keep me from allowing pucks to go between my legs. If I had a new stick, and that's our thought process as agents, we think, oh my gosh, if I just did what they did, I would have the same success. And you can do the exact same thing as another agent does. Doesn't mean you're going to have the same success, right? The answer is getting you better. And then no matter what glove that you put on, no matter what blocker you have on, no matter what stick you decide to use, you're going to kill it. So it's about developing the habits that you need to be able to be a successful and a kick-butt agent. So it starts with the disciplines and the things that we need to do, and not so much what we need to go out there and buy and try. So do, doing, and done. I want you to incorporate. You don't have to order this board from anybody. You can create this board with stuff that you have at home. Do, doing, and done. Do it on a weekly basis. The next one, lead generation. This is important because I'm going to ask you, if we were to look at your lead generation, I don't want you to number this down. I want you to write it down. Either Range Rover, smart car, or you can put any car in between. So if your lead generation was a car, right, the engine that drives your business, what kind of car would your lead generation be? Would it be a Range Rover? Would it be a smart car, right? Would it be a Honda Civic? Would it be a Ferrari, right? Would it be a Tesla? I want you to write that down because we're not going to ask you for a number when we're on the call. We're going to ask you what car, right, what size engine your lead generation would be. And this is key because for you to increase your business, you have to increase your lead generation. A lot of times when I go out, I have a lot of friends in this industry, so we get together and we do things. And every time we get together, they're always going to ask me questions about real estate. It's just kind of how it is. You know, and I don't mind it because I love what I do. But a lot of times questions will be brought up about, Tim, how can somebody go from selling that many houses to this many houses in 1 year? Well, one of the things is we increase their lead generation. So instead of getting business from 1 or 2 different sources, now you're getting business from 8 to 11, 8 to 12, 8 to 13 different sources. So write it down. Or is your lead generation a smart car? Maybe it's not even a smart car. Maybe it's a golf cart. Write it down, and we're going to help you with that. Next is a list of typical our clients. This is kind of what they're getting their business from. So this particular person, they would be getting business from 6 different sources, right? Database, let's say 42% of their business comes from database. 18% of their business is from online leads. Geo-farming, expireds, right? FSBOs. We all know that 1 out of every 9 houses sold in the United States is a for sale by owner. Homeowners think that their house is worth, you know, a fortune. And then when they try to do it on their own, what happens? It doesn't sell. So it's a great opportunity to jump in there. Open houses, direct mail. There's a lot of ways to generate business. This is just kind of an example of you know, what we put in there for one of our clients. The key is that we increase your lead generation, we get you good at it, and we get you getting business from a lot of different sources. Pretend like your business is a tree. If I have fruit coming from 1 or 2 branches, eventually they're going to slow down. So if my business is referral based and all of a sudden 1 year it really slows down, it impacts me. But if I have business coming from 6 different lead generation systems and 2 of the branches slow down, guess what? I still get fruit from 4 branches. So increase your lead generation. It's going to allow you to be able to get to that goal. The next one, presentation and conversion skills. So you got to be able to learn how to present and convert. So we're going to go into this. So this is one where in the real estate world, a lot of times I talk to people and it's kind of like a bad word. So whenever we talk about scripts, a lot of times we go to an area where, you know, we think, well, scripts is a bad thing. Well, I don't want to sound scripty, but I want you to really think about this for a minute. When was the last time you went to a movie, right? You probably go at least a couple times a year. I know that I typically go once every couple months, and I can guarantee you that every single person that we pay to go watch up on the film, they use scripts. And this is where it's key. It's not in trying to learn your scripts and memorize them. It's going to another level and learning to internalize them. You have to get it to the point where you don't even think about your script. Because when you get in front of somebody, you want to be able to know how to handle their objections, but you don't want to sound like a robot, because you getting the business, it's not about how many years that you've been doing this. It's not about how educated you are, or how far in school that you went to. It's how well can you connect with the buyer and seller that's in front of you. How well. And by you using scripts, it's going to help you to connect a little bit better. I would say a lot better. Just like the story I was telling you about the agent earlier who was paying for these leads, and then they didn't work, and then he was paying for another set and another set. Well, if you get better at your scripts and you internalize what it is that you need to say, and you get very good at your objection handling, I could promise you, you're going to start seeing results in what you're paying for. So you have to get good scripts. You need to internalize them, not just memorize them, and it's going to help you with your conversion. The next thing I want to talk about, see, we have a little bit of time, we're almost at the end, is our business systems. So there's a gap, and I want you to rate yourself on this. So we kind of put 8 things down. All 8 may not apply to everybody on the call, but the first one is your business plan. On a scale of 1 to 10, what type of business plan do you have? The second one is tracking system. How well do you track? And I'm talking everything, whether it's your leads, money, stuff that you're spending your money on. Are you tracking it? 1 to 10. The third one, your database. Are you utilizing and tapping into your database? That's a lifeline. Scale 1 to 10. Number 4, marketing plan. Not a business plan, but a marketing plan. Do you have a marketing plan? When it comes to marketing dollars, one of the things that we teach as a coaching company, and a lot of it will depend on your area as well and your commissions, but we teach a 10-to-1 return. So not only do I have a marketing plan, do I have a marketing plan that's going to effectively allow me to generate a 10-to-1 ROI? It's going to generate me money. Not just, hey, I'm going to do marketing and spend money for the sake of spending money. That's not a plan. Time management system. Are you working 8 days a week? Do we need to learn how to manage our time better? Scale 1 to 10. Lead follow-up. Are we letting leads slip through the cracks? Do we not have a good system in place that could allow us to sell, let's say, anywhere from 4 to 10 extra homes because we don't let leads slip through the cracks? The next one is admin. If you're at a position where your business is growing and you have an admin, do they have a checklist? Do you have stuff that they need to do on a consistent basis? And are they meeting those things? And the final one is assistance. So rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. And I want you to kind of reflect on this. You don't have to, again, snap a picture. You guys are going to get these slides. But a lot of this information is not only yes for you, but when we're on the phone with you, it's going to allow us to determine the right action steps to get you on path. So kind of as we dwindle down, you have 2 options. You can either, 1, make excuses, or you can, 2, make money. And I'm going to sound a little harsh, and please don't take this as just mean and insensitive and not caring, because I promise you, if you knew me, that's not me. I'm very, very passionate about what I do. I love what I do. I love helping agents. I have a lot of relationships in this business. And one of the things with me and my wiring, I'm very direct. I'm a high D personality. I'm very one side or the other, black and white. I don't live in the middle. And one thing I've learned, not only from work, but even in carrying over into your relationships and stuff, is we all believe the story that we tell ourselves. And I could be on the phone with an agent, and I'm not meaning to be insensitive, but when they have a goal of doing 25 deals a year and they're only at 9, and I ask them, what's keeping them from hitting 25, majority of them will immediately go into an excuse. Well, Martin, this happened, and I had to go through this, and I had to go through this. And if I can give them anything on the call for this particular person, I want them to understand that you will always be in the same situation. You will always be in the same position if you give power to your excuses, if you keep telling yourself the story that you're telling yourself, right, you're allowing yourself a way out. Because in reality, do top producers not go through the same challenges as what we go through? Do top producers not get sick? Do not top producers not go through relationship stuff or go through divorces? Of course they do. But the difference between them and the rest, right, is they don't buy into that. They know what's in front of them. They build a business, and they have a business that allows them to generate the income that they deserve. And they don't attach themselves and align themselves to shortcomings and excuses. There's nothing wrong with falling down. But when we fall down, we got to get back up and do the things necessary to get to that next level. So this is what I want everybody to do right now. I have a team of coaches here, and I've already approved it. I'd love to give every single one of you a free call. Typically, that call, depending on your scenario and situation, is probably going to be anywhere from, let's say, 30, 40 minutes to an hour. And basically what's going to happen is your coach is going to take a look at you, what you got going on right now, where you're at, where your business is coming from, and what your big goal is. They're going to ask you some questions like kind of where you're at, where you rated yourself on those particular lines, and they're going to give you a plan moving forward to help you get to the next level, especially as we start ramping up at the end of the year, so we hit January on the ground running. So I want everybody just to strictly do this. You're going to text me your name and your email to my number below, 949-351-5957. Once again, 949-351-5957. A couple things will happen to you. One, you'll get forwarded a PDF of the actual presentation, so you'll have for your records. And you'll also get an email from a coach to set up what day and what time works best for you, maybe either later this week or next week. And we will promise you we will do everything in our power to give you the tools, point you in the right direction, give you a little push if we need to, and help you get to where you're trying to get to. So this is your business. If you had a magic wand and you were to wave it, what would your business look like? And let us help you get your business to that level. So Victoria, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your presentation and your amazing brokerage. I believe in your model, and I think you guys are going to do overwhelming, amazing things.
Thank you so much, Martin. We really, really, really appreciate you doing the webinar for us today. And we've already been getting some great feedback. So thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And we hope you have a great afternoon. Thanks again, Martin.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.